There is a Hebrew saying that I want to try not to murder. Ma'aseh avot, okay, Ma'aseh avot, siman labanim. And what it means is the actions or deeds of the fathers are a sign for their children to follow. There's a verse in Proverbs. Boy, Proverbs is a good book. What a parent does in moderation, a child will do in excess. I need to start praying that.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, can that assignment be broken?
Well,
Because it's not always a good assignment.
no.
I'm thinking of something.
Yeah, but you know, because that's a warning to parents that, hey,
Yes.
what you're doing in moderation,
Yes.
if you think it's, you know, like, okay, just go there. Ruffles on a little one's behind. It's not cute.
Yes.
If it's not cute at 22, it ain't cute at 2.
Yeah.
When does it change? Mm-hmm. What you do in moderation, when you change approval. So, you know, it's like when training this one, you know, start thinking, oh, well, she's only 2. All the more reason to teach her right
Yes.
now. Okay? So it's a warning, hey, be careful. But on the other hand, what about the parent that does open the word, does teach them how to pray? Okay, so I want to start claiming that part of it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Greater is he that is in us. Greater. Good is greater. Good wins. God wins. That should be greater than, but yet the pool of the evil. So why? Because James. Because it's something you want, and so you're, yeah. So when you've got whatever, you know, out there, and then you have your desire. See, your desire has a lot, your choices. Okay, so that's what this is saying. It's saying that the actions of the fathers are a sign for their children to follow. Do you see? It's very positive.
Mm-hmm.
It's not saying repeat my mistakes, because what it is it's saying, hey, fathers, lead correctly, because the children are following. And what the fathers did, the children will do.
Yeah, excess.
Okay, so that's the Hebrew saying, and I think it's important to share that with you now, because we're going to Father Abraham. That's where we're going. We're going to Genesis 12. Okay, so that's where I want to go. All right, and his name is Abram. Okay. Now Adonai said to Abram, "Go on, get out of here." Basically, get yourself out of your country, away from your kinsmen and away from your father's house, and go to the land that I will show you. I will make of you a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you are to be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, but I will curse anyone who curses you. And by you all the families of the earth will be blessed. That's packed. It really is. Okay. First of all, where is Abram? Okay, so let's go here. I want to show you something. Oh, thank you. Okay. This is Ur. This is Babylon. This is Ur. But there's another Ur. Look at the Ararat Mountains. See the Ararat Mountains? Mm-hmm. Ur of the Hustim. Yes, right there. Okay. In the Ur of the Kasdim. Thank you. This is Ur. But Ur of the Kasdim is up here.
Okay.
But everybody goes to Ur and says, here, Ur and Babylon. Well, Babylon's here. Ur and Babylon, they're not, I mean, they're close, but they're not that close. It's like, you know, the Galilee and Jerusalem. They're close. They're not that close. It's not like, you know, I can walk and be there in 15 minutes or an hour. Okay? Hittite kingdom. You know, for the longest time, people said, oh, the Bible isn't inaccurate because they didn't find any archaeology about Hittites until they did. Isn't God good? Just kind of like, you know, in the Sinai, saying, oh, Mount Sinai is in Sinai Peninsula. It's over here. Saudi Arabia, right where God said it was. Oh, okay. So this is Mount Ararat. Here's where the ark was. It makes sense. Okay. It makes sense. It's possible that it's this. And then they went to Haran. Don't get hung up. Oh, it's got to be here, or don't get hung up. It's possible it's here, and this makes a lot of sense to me. Again, don't trust everything you find. It just, oh, this has got to be it just because somebody said it's here. All right? Okay. Because they would go from here to here to here and not go across the desert. Okay. Or they would have gone from here to here to here, Abram. Okay, I'm just giving you different perspectives. All right? Does that make sense? Okay. But I brought this one up because here is the Tigris River, and here's the Euphrates. Here's Iran, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Turkey. You see? The heart. This is part of that Fertile Crescent. Oh, is that in the way? Can you see? Yes, okay. And that's why I put it there. This is the heart of everything. Iran is going to be involved until the end of days. Okay? And the Persian people. They just are. Okay? All right. So this is the area we're always talking about. But see, Turkey is right. This is where Haran is over here. So that's where, and then here. Iran is up here, and they're going to be coming down into Canaan. It's Canaan right now. All right? Okay. Kinsman. Kinsman's an interesting word because kinsman, if you go look in the Hebrew, it has to do with, we call it motherland. Why do we call it the motherland? Because it's where you were birthed, and who gives birth? The mother. Isn't that interesting? Because there's no mention of his mother. But yet God tells you, I want you to leave this place. I want you to leave your birthplace. I want you to leave your kinsman. See, there's a lot of, in the Middle East, in Asia, in the Africas, there are a lot of women warriors throughout history. Outside of Scripture, there are women warriors. There are whole civilizations of warrior women, and there are individuals throughout in India, China, Japan, the Asias, Iran, Persia, Pakistan, Africa. There are, in the different tribes of Africa, there are women warriors. Even Native Americans in America, there was an area that their women had a lot of power and a lot of say, and they were warriors. And the house belonged to her, not to the man. That was her security. That was hers. The house belonged to her. Contrary to the way our Western mind thinks and sees things or understands history. So I just thought it was very interesting that to leave your kinsman, to leave the land of your birth, because it's always tied to female, to mother. Your motherland. Okay, now we're sounding like Russia. Anyway, it was just an interesting side note to me. Maybe it didn't mean anything to any of you, but I thought it was very interesting. Especially for me. I follow my father. Follow your father. Okay. But then he says, go away from your father's house, your earthly father's house. Okay? Now, his father is Terach. Is his father still alive? Yes.
Yeah.
His father was, I think, 70 when he had him. Abram, 75. That's 145. And he lives, if I remember correctly, to 200 and something, 205 years. And he dies in Haran. That's Terach. So Abram moves away. Okay?
So what family tree that Abraham belongs to?
That's where I'm going. So who is Terah descended from? Is it Japheth? Is it Ham? Or is it
Sam.
who?
Shem.
Shem.
Shem, I mean.
Yeah, Shem.
No.
Safe answer.
Noah.
Noah. Yes, he's definitely from Noah, and Adam too. But he's another picture. So he comes from the line of Shem, because God designated Shem, and the blessing went to Shem. And the whole idea is to get the people. See, God divided. Remember the continents? Okay, I don't know if any of you went and read Psalm 82. When God divided the nations at Babel, he chose a certain land. I wonder which one. It wouldn't have been associated with Eden for sure. I mean, no way, right? Just because he set that one apart. So I believe the reason he chose Israel is because he had already chosen Israel. That was the place where he had Eden. And then the garden of Eden, which is Jerusalem. Okay? You see what I'm saying? And so they scattered and went east. And now he's picked his line and he's picked his man. Why? What did Abram do?
He obeyed.
Believe in him, maybe.
Did he?
Well, they had scriptures.
He left.
No, they had no
They
scriptures.
had stories. They had writings.
They had stories.
He left the land.
He did, yeah, he did it. But what made him pick him initially? What did he obey? See, we think, I was taught that Abraham was obscure and God just picked him and pulled him out of all the whatever peoples and chose him and brought him here. And you know what? God can do that. He can. But he's in the line of who God already blessed. And Shem was commanded and was faithful. And I believe the stories were passed on. And so, yes, I believe he did know the God. He's not the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob yet. Because Abraham doesn't even exist. I mean, Abram's here, but Abraham doesn't exist yet. Isaac's not even a possibility. It's not a possibility, not a probability. So therefore, there's no Jacob and Israel either, right? Okay. So God chooses, but yes, I think he had knowledge. I do. It's about this time. Some say that Job was at the same time. I disagree with the timing a little bit. Does it matter? No, it doesn't. The only reason I disagree is because there's mention of Edomites, Esau's, and so that comes, he's not even a thought yet. So I think Job comes a little bit later. Not a lot later. Same time period, same, millennium area here, okay? But what it shows you is that with Job, who is not Israelite, he's not Jewish, he's not in the land, that there are those who know the true God. It wasn't, he was for everyone, in other words. Okay, just because he chose Abram, just because he goes down the line and brings Jacob and changes him to Israel and has the 12, doesn't mean no one else is invited to come or able to serve him. Okay, they were supposed to. The kingdoms were divided, the 70 nations, and given to Elohim. Spirit beings had dominion, principalities and powers over areas. Some of them have failed miserably because they've elevated themselves like the enemy. Okay, instead of pointing to God, instead of directing them to God. But there are in each ethnicity a sliver of truth. There's a story of creation. There's a story of the flood in every civilization. Okay? So the way to God is there. He didn't just say, oh, this one and everybody else is in the dark. That's not what I read. Especially, you can't explain Job any other way. Because Job is not Jewish. See, if they put him at the time of Abraham, okay, well then people, and then God separated, and now people, I can't do that. I can't do that, okay? You've got people in Persia and Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, who are hardcore Muslim, having encounters with Yeshua. So it's possible. It's not his will that any should perish, okay? He chose, the only reason Israel is chosen is because Israel is, this is my example, right? You never wanted to be the pet, the teacher's pet, because you were the one that was going to be picked on. Everybody thought it was a wonderful job, but man, you needed to get it right, because if you didn't get it right, you got corrected, and everybody saw how you got corrected, because that's how the teacher taught. Is you mess up, this is what happens. Who does it happen to? The chosen one. Okay? So, everybody go, oh, they're chosen. They think they're better. No, it's not great to be chosen. You see what I'm saying? Okay, we've got chosen all wrong. Like somehow they're special, elite, above the law, above the, they can do no wrong, and they're God's favored, and so no, that's not what it means to be chosen or favored. Okay, you're the example, kid. Oh, it's so much fun to be the example, kid. Okay, all right, moving on. He says, and go to the land that I will show you, and I will make you a great nation. So yes, I think, as you said, Al, he had to have a knowledge. I believe he had a knowledge of who God was. He has heard of creation. He knows, because the story goes to Moses. Where's it coming from? How does it get to Moses? Unless it went through Abraham. So he's got to have knowledge of God and knowledge of creation and knowledge of the flood. He has to. So, and God picked him because like the others, like Enoch, like Noah, he was found faithful. Faithful to what? To the word that was spoken, to the truth that was given. And so he was faithful to what he
known
knew.
as the father of faith, right?
Yeah.
So his faith started way before the trials.
Yes. I had to, because that's your testing. Yeah. Okay. Because we learn. This one back here learns. And every time she learns, she builds on that learning, and she holds on to it, and her memory will knock you out of the park. She remembers things. And that's how my childhood was. Everything I learned, you build upon it, And you can ask me, how do you know that? I don't know how I know that. I just know that I know that. Because I learned it and I built upon it, and I just kept learning and kept growing and okay? And so that's Abraham, faith. He just keeps building on his faith, okay? All right. Then he says, I will make of you a great nation. How old is he? I think he's 75. I will make of you a great nation. A nation implies a lot of children, doesn't it? Okay. I will bless you. Oh. And you are to be a blessing. Those are two different words, although the root is the same. I will bless. It's not just prosperity. It's not just honoring. It's not just bowing down. It's not, because when we bless, we honor, or we bow down, or you elevate. But to be a blessing, it's not just prosperity. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. The opposite of that, I think it's easier when I go, and I will curse those who curse you, right? The opposite to what he means in the blessing is the curse, which means those who dishonor you, those who disrespect you. See, now that helps you understand blessing more, because they're opposites. Those who disenfranchise you, those who speak against you, those who belittle you. What? All of that is cursing. All of those who think you're insignificant. Oh, that's going to be fun. All of that is what it means by cursing. And that you see them less than. And that's a curse. And so God is going to see them as less than. God is going to belittle them. You see how that works? I'll bless, raise and elevate, or I'll curse, put down in shame. That's the blessing and the cursing here. And then he's to be a blessing. He's to raise people up. He's to bring people up. Why does God send him to another land? Who's in Canaan? Pagans. Ham. Ham who chose his own way. Ham who was rebellion. Ham who did things not the right way. He goes down to Egypt. Mishraim, what's there? Idols. Foreign gods. Why does he go there? To be a blessing. To speak truth. One of the incidences, I'm getting ahead of myself with Abram, he's like, why did you do this? Why did you say this? Well, I didn't know anybody feared God. He's to be the light. You see? God's sending him to light the place up. Okay. I will bless those who bless you, but I will curse anyone who curses you, and by you all the families of the earth will be blessed. Not prosperous as in your bank is overflowing. Blessed as in raised up.
Yeah.
Raised up from what? The pit you're in. Raised to a different way. Raised to praise God. Raised so that your ways aren't the same as the world's ways. Okay? Okay. So Abram went. Yes, there's your obedience, right? So Abram went as Adonai had said to him, and Lot, his name is Lot, by the way. I don't know why we say Lot, but it's Lot. And Lot went with him, and Abram was 75 years old when he left Haran. Okay, that was that up here, up north, right? North. Abram took his wife Sarai, his brother's son Lot, and all their possessions which they had accumulated, as well as the people they had acquired. Okay, now doesn't that one get you? People. We say slaves. We say servants. How many of us were employees? Newsflash, you were a slave.
Yeah.
You were a servant.
Yeah.
No, it's just a different time and a different language and but it's the same. Because if somebody, as a servant or a slave, when you get into the law, when they serve you for 7 years, you're to send them out, but you don't send them out empty. They worked for you. You make sure that they go with something so they can start. They're working. It's employment. Okay. So don't get hung up on that. Oh, there were slaves in the Bible. What era are we talking about? Okay. As well as the people they had acquired. Well, in Haran. Did they buy some? Yeah, they do. Are some taken in war? Yeah. And so are there slaves? Yes. Are there servants? Yes. Different time, different life, different culture. But we can equate it to today the same. Because we're slaves to the bank. We're slaves to, I pay rent, or we're slaves to the mortgage we're slaves to the boss I work for. We are. Just different terminology. Different way to look at it. Okay. And they set out for the land of Canaan and entered the land of Canaan. And Abram passed through the land to the place called Shechem, to the oak of Moreh. That one's really interesting. So Shechem, okay, so I believe he came down on the eastern side of the Jordan. Because Shechem is in here. On this side. And if he'd have gone down that way, he'd have gone in and come across this way. And he would have hit other cities first. But he hits Shechem first. Okay? So it stands to reason. And is that a known travel path? Yes. And it's green. If you've got animals, there's water, there's grasses, there's food. You see what I'm saying? There's people there, there's commerce there. It makes sense to travel there. Okay. I could be wrong. To the oak of Moreh, to the tree of the teacher. That's what Moreh means. Morah is a female teacher, Moreh is a male teacher. To the oak of Moreh. And it's interesting because we look at oak trees and we think of them as, I always think of oak tree, we use it as a symbol of knowledge. Don't we? Don't we use trees as a symbol of knowledge? Yeah. A lot of things that, a lot of businesses, a lot of schools, if you look at their emblems, there's a tree. Mm-hmm. And the teacher would sit under the tree, right? And teach. I don't know. But anyway, that's where they went. The Canaanites were there in the land, and Adonai appeared to Abram and said, how did he appear? How did he hear? Wow. Well, we find out. He actually appears to him more than once. So Adonai appeared to Abram and he said, to your descendants, actually what he says is to your seed, I will give this land. So Abram built an altar there to Adonai, that's Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, Yahweh, who appeared to him. When he left that place, he went to the hill east of Bet-El. See, he's moving. Bet-El is this way, Shechem, Bet-El. So he's moving, and he pitched his tent with Bet-El, which is house of God, that's what it means, to the west, and Ai to the east. What's next to Ai? I'm jumping way ahead. After the children of Israel enter into the land, like hundreds of years from where we're at right now, the first place they cross the river, they cross the Jordan River, and they go to Jericho. Mm-hmm. Where did they go after Jericho? Ai. Mm-hmm. Right here. Mm-hmm. Okay? And he built an altar there, and he called on the name of Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. Then Abram traveled on, continuing toward the Negev. The Negev is this point down here, way down here in the desert, before the Sinai. Okay? But there was a famine in the land. Canaan seems to have a lot of famines, don't they? Mm-hmm. Okay. We see another famine later. So Abram went down into Egypt to stay there because the famine in the land was severe. When he came close to Egypt and was about to enter, he said to Sarai, his wife, I'm not going here, but that's okay. We're going to read it. Here now, I know that you are a good-looking woman. She's 65 years old.
She's
okay.
a good-looking woman.
Woo! So that when the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife, and kill me, but keep you alive. Please say, wait a minute. I will bless those who bless you. Okay, never mind. Please say that you are my sister, so that it will go well with me for your sake, and so that I will stay alive because of you. Why even go? He's wealthy. Why even go? Okay, whatever. When Abram entered Egypt, the Egyptians did notice that the woman was very beautiful. Very 65 years old beautiful. That just blows me away. Pharaoh's princes, meaning the men, saw her and commended her to Pharaoh. So the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. And he, listen to this, he treated Abram well for her sake, just like Abram said, almost prophetic, giving him sheep, cattle, male and female donkeys, male and female slaves, I wonder where Hagar came from, and camels. Okay, let's get past the obvious and let me point out a pattern. There's a famine in the land. Mm-hmm. He goes to Egypt.
So does
There's a famine in the land. He goes to Egypt. Mm-hmm. He comes out of he's sent out of Egypt, and he's blessed. He comes out with possessions and acquisitions and his bride. Israel eventually goes into the land because of a famine. And when they come out of the land, they're married in the desert, right? But they come out with possessions. Remember what I told you? Mm-hmm. Whatever the parents have done, all of Scripture is written for our learning, that we through comfort of the Scriptures might have hope. Okay? So, it's a pattern. There was a famine. They go. Neither time are they told to go. Abram didn't ask God, should I go? I think Jacob, Israel, has a conversation and God tells him, yeah, go ahead and go. But we don't know that about Abram. Okay? But Adonai, let me finish, 17. But Adonai inflicted great plagues on Pharaoh. Oh, what? Pattern? And his household because of Sarai, Abram's wife. Why were there plagues? Because of Abba's wife, Israel. There were great plagues on the land of Egypt to let his bride go. Pharaoh called Abram and he said, what is this you have done to me? Why didn't you tell me that she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister so that I took her to be my own wife? Okay, I'm going to stop there for a second. Okay, it's very, if you know anything about Egyptian history, pharaohs marry brother and sister or daughter and father or mother and son. All of this is showing you a pattern. And here it's interesting. Pharaoh goes, why didn't you tell me? But when we get Moshe, he goes in and tells him. He goes in and tells him. He goes in and tells him. And Pharaoh is stubborn and hard-hearted. Right? You see the repeat? Okay. Now therefore, here is your wife. Take her and go away. Don't we see that? The death. Get out. Get out of here. Okay. So Pharaoh gave orders concerning him to his men, and they sent him on his way with his wife and everything he had. When they leave Egypt later, how many years later? 200 something years later, 400 from here. They go out. The wife leaves with all of her possessions, and Pharaoh sends them out. Okay, I skipped the obvious because no one ever talks about it, because we go to the obvious sometimes. Like, well, God, he's never condemned for lying. God had a different plan and a different picture. You see? He's the friend of God. And I'm not saying you have a license to do, to lie or to what, but don't touch God's anointed. And when God has a plan, he's going to bring it about, regardless of you or in spite of your fallacies.
Well, God's mercy is relevant there because, sometimes, a lot of times, God forgives us and does not let us go through what we deserve.
Yeah. But he's not chastised for this. Instead, we hear about his faith. Instead, we hear about his trust. Instead, he becomes the father of a nation. Instead, he accumulates wealth because God has blessed him. Okay. I don't know what time. Okay, a little bit. All right, I'll do a little bit of 13. So Abram went up from Egypt, even though Egypt is down. If Egypt was in the north, they would still be going up, right? Because Israel is always up from wherever you are, and Jerusalem is up from wherever you are. And if you're in the Galilee up north, you're going up to Jerusalem. Okay, you might be going down south, but you're going up to Jerusalem. Okay, come, let us go up to the mountain. Okay, that's the center of the world. That's the center of the universe. Is Jerusalem, Eden, Garden of Eden. Okay. So Abram went up from Egypt, he, his wife, and everything he had, and Lot with him into the Negev. Right now the Negev is a desert, but there are pockets of the Negev that are coming to life. Okay, green. Because and it's really interesting because I've been in some of these deserts where there are hidden springs. There's lush greenery, and there's water in the earth. Okay. Abram became wealthy with much cattle, silver, and gold. And as he went on his travels, now don't take that as prosperity. Like, if you follow God, you're going to be rich. That's not what that means. Okay, in this society, he's a nomad. God's having him move. He's going to be a great nation. He's got things he's got to do. He's got to build a nation. He's got to train. It's appropriate for his calling. Okay? As he went on his travels from the Negev, he came to Bet-El, house of God, to the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bet-El and Ai, or Ai, where he had first built the altar, and there Abram called on the name of Adonai. So right here, he does it before he goes. He calls on the name of Adonai. He built an altar. He calls on the name of Adonai. So regardless of whether he's a human being and he messed up, his trust is in God. How about David? Man after God's own heart. That was a pretty serious sin there, dude. Not just one, but a couple of them. To cover up. Why? Keep your heart right. Okay? That one psalm I love. Those who look to him are radiant. They'll never be ashamed. Why? Because love covers a multitude of sins. It's not license to go sin. It's not a license to do it wrong. It's comfort to know that when I screw up, he loves me anyway. And he'll use me anyway. Not as a free license to, it doesn't matter, I can do whatever. No. I don't espouse that. Okay? But we're going to flub. We're going to mess up. Hopefully we keep growing and learning that we mess up less. Right? We mess up less. We're going to continue on later next week with Abram, and we're going to see his faith. When things come before him, he responds correctly. Because he's also learning from his mistakes. Although he didn't learn from this one. He repeats this one another time. But
sons repeat it too.
Yep. So we'll come across that. And and there's things to be said about familiar spirits and sins in the family. And things that run in the family. And what the parent did in moderation, the child, whatever the father does, the children follow. See, it's biblical principle. So, matter of fact, something happened this week, and that one back there will bear witness to it. And I was like, sing, that song, "Oh, be careful, little mouth, what you say." I said, "Oh, be careful, big mouth, what you say," because she flew off with that, and I went, It was okay. It was appropriate, and it was right, but it was like, oh man. Because they do follow, okay? But likewise, they're going to catch your faith or lack thereof. You can't hide from it. A kid knows. You can pretend, but you can't hide from a child or an animal. They know, okay? You can't. They know the truth. They watch you when you don't know, when nobody else is watching. Okay, they hear you when no one else is watching. That's right. Yeah. So they know whether you really mean what you say. Okay? All right. Wow, that was a freebie. Okay, please stand. Abba, we thank you for this wonderful, beautiful day, and we thank you that the sun is shining, and that warmth is coming, and spring is coming, and yes, we do selfishly ask for a long spring, but a long spring and a short summer. But we thank you for what you have for us. We thank you for the week ahead. We thank you for the decisions that are going to be made, and we trust you no matter what those choices are, no matter what those decisions are. You have a plan and you have a purpose, and so we're going to trust you in it. And with all those we love and all the things we haven't spoken, but you know them all, and you know the beginning from the end. And you are faithful and true and just. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.